falling victim to knowing. While in this reality, we struggle with the freedom of choosing and directing thought. We are, in a sense, learning how to function as flesh in absolute freedom. All experiences we encounter are a direct result or manifestation of our thoughts. We are the creators of this reality. The elements, the beasts of the earth, the plants, trees, even the waters and the spirits of the earth, all respond to our thoughts and emotions. Our thoughts, without exception, create the nature of our reality. The conditions of this world and its people are a result of our thoughts as well. Some experiences are not so good. And some experiences are bueno, very good. That also is a result of our thoughts. The result of thought is found both in the action as well as the non-action we take. We can choose in this life to be the dancers, or we can sit on the sidelines and let it be someone else's responsibility and pleasure. This is what ordinary people seem to choose above all things. A lot of people like to come to the party, but only a few are willing to prepare for it. The others, it seems, would rather criticize the efforts of those around them. It is often only a ploy to cast the vision off of themselves for their lack, and deflect the focus upon the human frailty of others. This is often a good sign that they are caught in patterns that they cannot break. They are victims of their knowing. They are still under the influence of their conditioning. The hard thing to understand about their dilemma is that they enjoy their life of being the victim. It justifies their inability to take action and be causal, thus masking their fears. Rather than dealing with fear, they prefer to cast criticisms and blame upon the world around them. They are trapped in being reactionary. So, falling victim to knowing. Don Lobos, Angela speaks. I don't understand. Angela added with a hint of frustration, her beautiful face emanating her state of confusion. I gotta drop some more myrrh on the burner. Myrrh. I resonate with Angela's frustration and confusion. Do you? The pettiness of people can set us back only if we allow it. This usually occurs when we are suffering from our own doubts and insecurities. Then we lose touch with that source, and the webs of it start to spin around us, choking our spirits. It is a trap that we have to be constantly aware of falling into. Monkey mind, that's all it is. So, how can we keep from getting lost in that trap? I mean, is it not that we are unaware of our actions, that we fall victim to our own circumstance? Angela questioned. Don Lobos replies, ordinary people are not aware of divine law. nor would they ask the kinds of questions you ask. That in and of itself is an indication that you have substance, and that the consciousness of divine awareness is running, coursing through your veins. Those who seek to do the work of the light cannot hide behind the excuses of the simple folk, nor can they lord it over the simple folk because they know. Yet another trial that the aspiring light worker must contend with constantly is falling victim to knowing. The path of learning to the master is a road less often traveled. It can have its moments of appearing pointless, with endless frustration. Yet, eventually, if we keep at it, the doors that we search for appear and then begin to open for us. We are in the beginning and continually along path, subject to learning how to deal with all that we see. Remember, there is a constant swinging back and forth between the real self, the spiritually aware self, and the intellect of the altered ego, where we are simply always edging God out. Some suffer from this condition their entire life without ever moving beyond it. So they come back again and again to get it right. What we see when we enter the world of man are many inequities and contradictions in what they say and what they do. People appear to be overlays of conflicting images, trying to project onto one screen. It is like they package themselves as an individual motion picture production. The visual of them is that which they try to sell. I'll tell them, put away their meat they're selling. Put away that meat you're selling. We're not buying it. And what others buy. And the reality of them is that which we have to struggle with in everyday relationship. And the two can be as polar opposites. Yep. Relationships are the true test of being on an accelerated path to learning. The friction of the relationship will quicken the pace and intensify the education, the awakening, so to speak. Although it is a challenge to be in relationship, it is also the shortest path home. If we can navigate through the emotional and intellectual obstacle courses that relationships create for us, the challenge is well worth the effort. Living this experience in the dance of everyday, mundane reality, I believe there is magic in the mundane. The mundane. We can easily become cynical in our perceptions if we do not remain aware of our own center and focus only upon our dilemmas. It is important, thus, to strive to create space during the day where we come back to our center and ourselves. Meditation is an essential discipline. Remember the formula for getting through the illusion of our 5D reality. Discernment, discretion, detachment, desire, and discipline. Proceeding ahead through the drama without balance is like speeding down an open highway on a motorcycle in the rain. When we are learning to willfully direct and filter our experiences through the heart, the residue of sifting everything through our intellect can leave hazy films that color our perceptions. and therefore affects the attitude we take on in response to a given situation. We can become morose, saddened, and eventually reach a point where we become a part of the turning away and get lost in the apathy. Aho to that. Apathy happens and it's poisonous. Detox that shit. Detox the apathy. We can see conditions as hopelessness that seems to fall upon all experience. The landscape around us then can easily become the land of broken dreams, as most seem to live behind the veil that shuts off all heart feelings and divine perception. It is a frustrating time during this transition period, a time where we must constantly be on top of the tricks of the intellect, which is always trying to rationalize to the heart the reasons for its conclusions, which are almost always relative and two-dimensional. This is the point at which most neophytes give up and return to the ordinary world. Psst. Not this one. What is ordinary? I don't think there's such thing. Normal doesn't exist. There they find themselves, at first very powerful and effectual because of their previous disciplines. However, it is only a temporary feeling. Once they have re-entered the world of the ordinary, they quickly find that they are once again subject to the reality of common man, who is lost in temporal values and temporal perception. Their energy drains, and they are worse off if they never open their eyes, for the memory of divinity will never leave them. Once the mind has been opened, it remains open. We must understand that our intellect, having been separated from the totality of what we are for so long, has become a part of the cause of the separation of us from the is. The intellect had to separate in order to make sense of the limited reality it was experiencing. It became the main tool of the image to play control games with our Godhead. Living in the image creates the altered ego, manifesting very early in us, an artificial image of what we actually are. This image, or false perception of self, is one of the image's strategic points of applied pressure to manipulate our true spirit self. The image is the tyrant in the box. Caught in limitation, it fears anything that might change its circumstance. For its existence is limitation. Everything beyond itself is unknown and appears as a threat to its existence. After all, it is the image, not an essence. It is merely a concept. Thus, it is without life force. If there appears to be a conflict brewing, and the spirit essence is going to make a move that decreases control by the image, or perhaps might even fracture the perception of the image creates feelings of doubt to induce fear, false evidences appearing real. Fear. Its purpose is to undermine any sense of self-esteem. It is a proven strategy. Worthiness issues are always good to throw up in front of your face. A showstopper that always works, doesn't it? We have become fractured due to this process of thinking and living continuously in our separate realities. The present reality we are experiencing now is an initiation, a great initiation. We chose to participate in this game long ago, in another lifetime. We have all chosen to experience this reality of limitation so that we could understand it. We could then gain control, master our emotional expression, and remain in contact with the source within, and thereby move on to the next part of our evolutionary experience. How else do we perfect the physical expression as a divine form? Do you remember being an angel? Angela responds in amazement. Do I remember being an angel? Yes. Do you remember your beginnings? Angela gazes off into the heavens, calling to her the ancient memories of her soul. Do I remember being an angel? She almost whispers. I have always had dreams about being this magnificent essence. There were others there, and we were playing with the light. She struggles to see her own vision. Yes, there were these sounds like tones swirling around, and well, I believe we were creating this world. I guess somehow I have always known deep inside I was an angel. Perhaps somewhere far off in my beginnings. Your understanding of the divine truth of your origins is quite contrary to that taught by most religions, Don Lobos replies, his sparkling eyes revealing his delight. And I commend you for your clarity and ability to step outside the present paradigms. Through the eye of the shaman. Aho.